Yo, it's me, Noble Zen, back at again another video, and today I wanted to talk about a lot of the things I see other players doing wrong in matchmaking, and like point out what they are and what they can do to fix them to hopefully make your road to Onyx a lot easier. Just a little bit about myself, so I'm not just some random dude telling you what to do. I've been playing Halo since Combat Evolved. Played a fuck ton of Halo 3. I got my 45 in Halo 3. I got Recon in it. Halo 4 I didn't really fuck with. Halo Reach, it was so I never hit Inheritor. I played Reach. That was like in high school for me, so I wasn't playing that much. I was mostly on Gears of War, actually. But then into Halo 5, I got Diamond 5 and 6 for most seasons. I never really hit Onyx. But in Infinite, Season 2, I hit Onyx in doubles and Arena. Season 3, I hit Onyx in Arena. And Season 4, I've hit Onyx in Arena. So there's a little background, so I'm not just some bronze kid trying to give you guys tips. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the BRs. So first thing I wanted to go over is the BR. I see a lot of people, it's either like pride. Like I know my problem is Season 1. I was like, dude, I've been playing Halo for 20 years. I don't need to practice. I know what I'm doing. Never hit Onyx Season 1. I tapped out at like Diamond 5. I might have hit Diamond 6, but I know I never hit Onyx Season 1. And my problem was I just wasn't comfortable enough with the battle rifle. I see the major problem is people are like shooting way too fast. They're going as fast as their trigger will go. Slow your shot down. It's way better to slow down a little bit and get those 4 headshots, and then shoot as fast as you physically can, and you're missing 2 bursts, and they're going to beat you in that 1v1. Because at the end of the day, if you can't win your ones, you're a detriment to the team. Ideally, you will never be in a 1v1, but we'll get to that later. But when you're inevitably in a 1v1, you need to be able to win them. So swallow your pride. I had to too. I still do it to this day. Before I start playing ranked, I'm in Academy, go to BR, and go to Endless BR, and just sit there and practice 4 shots perfectly. Start slow. Get them in there, and you'll slowly get faster and faster until you're in there. You know what I mean? What I normally do for my warm up is I just fuck around with the BR until I'm feeling warmed up, and then I go for 12 headshots in a row, or 12 perfect kills in a row, and that's when I know it's like, all right, my shot's in there. I'm ready to hop into rank. So just swallow your pride. Make sure you're really, really good with BR, because at the end of the day, every life you'll have a BR. Like it's good to be good at the sniper and the fucking like get used to the shotgun because they're kind of weird. Takes a little getting used to. Stalker rifle's another big one. Like practice those too. Commando, practice those as well. But you need to be super comfortable with the BR because you will always have a BR in your hands. So just hop in an Academy, fuck around. If you don't like Academy, if it's too boring, the bot playlist or whatever the fuck it's called, Bot Slayer, you can use that. I don't really fuck with that. I just like doing Academy because I can just focus on me and not have to worry about like a map or anything. But yeah, that's all I got for BRs. So next thing I want to go over is the spawns. I feel like a lot of people don't understand where to rotate the ball or which way to push when they're running the flag. I think it's just a lack of understanding how the spawn system works. So I just have a map of streets pulled up right here. It'd be easier of a visual to explain, I believe. The way the spawn system works in Halo Infinite, on every map, there's one exception, which I'll go over at the end. Your enemy will always spawn as far away in a safe position from the good guys. So in this example, blue team has one guy in Cafe, one on A, one on B, and then one over here in Heaven. The only far and safe place for C team to spawn is right here. They can't go anywhere else. They're stuck right there. But if my team wanted to push up, let's say this B guy pushed into here, this guy went like mid, Cafe guy started pushing purple, and this guy pushed over to B, then red team, as we killed them off, they could start spawning behind us right here and be able to flank us and take us out. So especially on something like strongholds, right? Let's say blue team is holding A and B, and we'll just go with the same example. We had one guy in B, Cafe, bottom A, and Heaven. They're right now, they're trapped in C, the enemy. They have C. We're getting 2 points a second. They're only getting 1 or 0. I don't remember how it works. But there's no reason to get the third because we have them spawn trapped. If they try and push out, if this guy pushes out, purple can kill him. If he tries to go through mid, fucking A can kill him. Same with B. They're trapped in there. But if we get greedy and blue guy wants to push up here and then he's forced to flex like through mid or something because he's challenging for rockets, then instead of red only being able to spawn here, they now have a second spawn open for them. And then they can collapse over to A. They can just cap B because they're already spawning on it. They could keep spawning here and push purple. So it's just really important to understand how the spawn systems work. Same thing with oddball. We can go back to this one. Let's say this guy has the ball right here. Now he knows if he starts getting pushed from red, like through driveway, he knows okay, the enemy's going to spawn here. I need to rotate back through PD because my team's spawning back over here on this A side. So it's this basic understanding of the spawns. It's always as far away as possible. So as long as you know where you are and you know where your teammates are, you can have a really, really good idea of where the enemies are going to be. As I said before, there's one exception, and that's on the map Imprium or the Pit, however you want to call it. They did their spawn system weird on this. There's only 2 spawn locations. You'll either spawn tower or you'll spawn over like by first BR. So the way that works, let's say it's red team. If blue pushes up and we got 3 on this side and 1 on this side, the enemies are going to spawn over here 100% of the time because there's more good guys on this side, if that makes sense. So Imperium's the only map that's different for CTF. They don't have Imperium Slayer anymore. That's getting taken out. Imperium CTF, it's 4 spawns on either tower side or first BR side. So when you're making your flag push, if you remember that, let me pull it back up. If you're making your flag push, what you want to do is try and get 1 guy, 2 guys, your flag carriers like right there, and then you want to run your flag through long haul because you know they're going to be forced to spawn on tower. So if your flag runner runs this way, he's running straight into the spawns. Hopefully that makes sense. By the way, this is Shotcall.app. Super useful website. Has a good amount of maps. I don't know if it has every map. Where's that? It has Valorant and Call of Duty as well, but good amount of maps. Good learning tool. Yeah. All right, next thing I wanted to talk about was your strafe in Halo Infinite. So a lot of older Halo players, I know it was a big problem for me. We're trained ourselves to jump around like our 3rd shot of our strafe. Jumping is going to get you killed in Halo Infinite. You need a crouch. For newer players that don't even know what a strafe is, basically as you're shooting, you're going to want to be going back and forth. Crouch is back here for me. Crouching, going back and forth. You're trying to just move where your head's at to make it as hard as possible for the enemy to hit you. The 2 biggest things I see that people are doing, well, 3 biggest things I see people doing wrong with their strafe. Biggest one, they're just not strafing. They're standing still playing like COD. COD has like a 0.2 second time to kill. You can stand still. Halo is a little longer, so you gotta get moving or you're gonna lose your 1v1. So the biggest problem, people just not strafing. Second biggest problem is the jump. It's a hard habit to break. It took me forever to break it, but you really don't want to be jumping 90% of the time. So every once in a while there's a reason to jump, but generally stick to crouching, keep your feet on the ground. The other biggest problem is just like ugly strafes, if that makes sense. There's either people who don't crouch enough or they crouch way too rhythmically. I don't think that's a word. They crouch to like to a cadence, so it's really easy to see them. So if you're like crouch, 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 it's easy to just like, all right, he's gonna be up now, he's gonna be up now. You know what I mean? Whereas if you have a very spontaneous crouch, fucking big word right there, it's way harder to track you. So what I'm stole this from Gears of War. Back in Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3, you had wall banging. And like Butter said, if you don't know where you're wall banging, there's no way the enemy knows where you're wall banging. Same thing for your strafe. If you don't know when you're going to crouch, the enemy, there's no way they can predict your strafe. So it's way easier with a paddle. Highly suggest it. If you can't get a paddle, I'd put it on your move stick. That's what I did before. But you just want to practice it a lot in Academy if you're not used to it, or even bot bootcamp or social slayer, like something other than ranked that's a little easier for you to practice. You want to just get it second nature to where you're not thinking about crouching. You're just naturally crouching as you're moving back and forth and hitting your shot. I like to go left to right. Doesn't really matter. You can go right to left. I generally go left to right because I line up my first shot, my BR, with my left stick. I don't really use my right stick. The right stick I only use for like micro adjustments. Generally, I'm aiming with my left stick. And my right stick just kind of go a little bit up or a little bit down, if that makes sense. So practice your strafe. That was a really long-winded one. Hopefully it made sense. If it didn't, just let me know in the comments. I'll try to explain it better. One takeaway from that, practice your strafe. Make sure you're crouching, not jumping. Almost every time you jump, it's a death sentence. You generally want to crouch in Halo Infinite specifically. Next up is grenades. Most people just use grenades wrong. This game is very grenade spammy, which works in certain situations. But I see a lot of people running into a 1v1 and leading with a grenade. And 9 times out of 10, especially in the higher lobbies, maybe you'll get away with it in like gold and below or whatever. But once you start getting up to Diamond and Onyx, if you lead with a grenade, you're almost always gonna die in that 1v1. Because if I'm leading with a grenade, that gives you first shot on me, which means you only have to shoot me 3 times before I'm able to shoot you 4 times. If that makes sense. So grenades should be mostly used as a utility, not as a leading open. Hopefully that makes sense. So like a good reason to use the utility. If you're holding like C, for example, on a recharge and you know they're coming long haul and you know there's one in control, you can just lob nades in the long haul just to slow that guy down. You're not doing it for damage or for the kill. You're slowing him down so you can focus on your 1v1 on control and then regroup and reassess for long haul. Another example is if somebody's running away from you and you're not going to be able to get the headshot, like for whatever reason, maybe you have a commando instead of your BR because your BR ran out of ammo, you can't get the headshot and they're running away from you. That's a good reason to use grenades because it could clean them up. But generally, you don't want to lead a 1v3. Go ahead and lead with grenades. Like you're not going to live it. Maybe you'll get super lucky. You'll get your triple kill. There's exceptions, right? But generally, a 1v3, you're probably going to lose. Lead with grenades just so you can get that mass damage out and hopefully your teammates can collapse in and kill them. But in a 1v1, you guys got to stop leading with grenades. You're going to lose that 1v1 9 out of 10 times because you're just handing them first shot at that point. And one frag grenade isn't that hard to dodge. And if you're dumb enough to throw 2 frag grenades, then they're pretty much getting the first 3 shots. They have to hit you 1 time before you're able to let them 4. Like, you're throwing your own life away. I know it's hard because grenades are super powerful. There is situations like if they're all camping, back flag, and you got 4 man up and you throw fucking 8 grenades in there, like, yeah, that's nice. But in your 1v1s, you got to get used to just using your BR, leading with your BR. You'll win more. Next up is comms. Communication makes the game so much easier. The best way, obviously, is open mic. I know some people aren't comfortable with open mic, so that is what it is. I get it. I understand. If you are comfortable with open mic, even if nobody else is talking to you, keep it on. Just start yelling out callouts. At least they'll be able to hear you. And a lot of my games, I mostly solo queue. A lot of my games, I'll be talking, doing callouts for like the first 3-4 minutes. And then my other teammates will put on their headset and they'll start talking back. And then all of a sudden we got comms going. You know what I mean? Another thing to use was really big is pings, especially for you that aren't comfortable with talking on open mic for whatever reason. Pinging is super huge. A really nice place to put it. I put it on my right stick when I click it in. So that way, in my gunfight, I just can instantly ping them without having to like take my my fingers off any buttons. If that makes sense. I also have paddles, so it's a little easier for me because I have my melee back here instead of my right there. But try and put your ping somewhere where you can use it consistently and always use it all the time. Anytime you're in a fight, just ping it. Why not? If you're on open mic, maybe you don't have to. If you're homies or whatever, you can just say, hey, there's a dude on fucking scoreboard or whatever. But if you're not using open mic, just ping. I still ping even with open mic. Even the rare times I'm running in a 4-stack, I'm still pinging. You even see it in pro plays. Like in HCS, that last game, you've seen FaZe pinging all the time. If pro players are pinging, then we should be pinging too, if that makes sense. Like, they're way better than all of us. So, pinging super useful. Try and ping more. It's super useful. Open mic is super huge because at least they hear your callouts. I understand if you don't want to use it though. All right, last thing I wanted to talk about was assist, objectives, and KD. I don't really have a category for this. I'm just going to run through it. I see a lot of people caring way too much about their KD, which I understand to a point. The way CSR works, the higher your KD is, let's say you have like a 10.0 or whatever, the more CSR you're going to get for that game on the win. But at the end of the day, if you lose, you're going to lose CSR. I see way too many people with way too much pride just going for their KD instead of picking up the ball, running the flag, capturing the stronghold / the hill, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be games where you're going to be able to be the main slayer. You're going to find a game where somebody likes playing objective and they'll get the objectives and you get to slay out. But if you're in one of those games where all 4 of you are trying to be the main slayer, you need to just say, all right, I'll be the objective guy and run the ball, run the flag. Especially now that you understand spawns a little bit better. Be easier to run the flag and run the ball, right? And then, yeah, KD is important, yes, but at the end of the day, it's not the most important thing. In Slayer, sure, KD is the most important thing, right? But in every other game mode, which there's way more than Slayer, we've got King of the Hill, Strongholds, Oddball, Strongholds. So 4 out of the 5 of game types. Stop worrying about KD, worry about objective time, and worry about assist. It's way better. for you to get somebody half shields. And if you know you're going to lose that fight, just run and let your teammate kill him, because then you're alive and you guys are up 4v3. Assist win games at the end of the day. You can trade all day and that won't make a difference, right? Like your KD will still be a 0.0 because you're just getting 1 kill, 1 death, 2 kills, 2 deaths. You know what I mean? Get your assist and play the objectives. KD is nice. You'll have your Slayer games. You'll have your games where you are the main Slayer. You get a pop off. But at the end of the day, you need to focus the objective. That's how you win the game. Focus assist, swallow your pride. If you know you're going to lose, swallow your pride. Just get the assist and run. But that's pretty much all I have for this. I can't really think of anything else. If you have any more questions, just put them in the comments. I'll try and answer them. If this was helpful for you, I have a performance review series I do. Every Monday I go over VODs of my gameplay and I point out the things I do right and the things I do wrong. That entire series will be in the description. A link to the playlist of it. Every Monday I have a new one of like Diamond through Onyx lobbies, just depending on what rank I am the day I record. And then on top of that, if you're newer and your controller just isn't working for you, I also have a settings video to go over your controller and everything, the settings I use, why I use them, what I think the best ones are, etc., etc. That will be pinned at the end of this. So hopefully one of those two help. Leave a like if you liked the video. Don't if you didn't. I'll catch you all next time. Noble's in here. I just want to say I appreciate you watching the video. If you're enjoying the content I upload every single day, so consider leaving a like and subscribing. Also, I'm live over on Twitch every Wednesday and Thursday, and I'm live right here on YouTube every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'd love to have you stop by and say what's up. That's all for today, and I'll catch you all next time.